श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च वो नमः। मातामहमहाशैलं महस्तदपितामहं कारणं जगतां वन्दे कण्ठादुपरिवारणम् वेदण्डास्यं गिरां देवीं सद्गुरोः पादपङ्कजं जगद्गुरुंश्च शृङ्गाद्रिस्थितान् वन्देऽर्थसिद्धये माला सुधा कुम्भविबोधमुद्रा विद्या विराजत्करवारिजाताम् अपारकारुण्यसुधाम्बुराशिं श्रीशारदाम्बां प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। सत्यज्ञानसुखस्वरूपममलं क्षीराब्धिमध्यस्थितं योगारूढमतिप्रसन्नवदनं भूषासहस्रोज्ज्वलं त्र्यक्षं चक्रपिनाकसाभयवरान् बिभ्राणमर्कच्छविं छत्रीभूतफणीन्द्रमिन्दुधवलं लक्ष्मीनृसिंहं भजे। गिरां देवी वाणी विमलगुणिनौ मे च पितरौ गुरुत्तंसाः मल्लाप्रगडकुलभूषा मणिबुधः कुटुम्बाख्यः शास्त्री रसिकहृदया ये सहृदयाः निजाशीर्भिः कुर्युः सफलवचसं मां करुणया। शङ्कारूपेण मच्चित्तं पङ्कीकृतमभूद्यया किङ्करीयस्य सा माया शङ्कराचार्यमाश्रये। प्रह्लादवरदो देवो यो नृसिंहः परो हरिः नृसिंहोपासकं नित्यं तन्नृसिंहगुरुं भजे। श्रीसच्चिदानन्दशिवाभिनव्य नृसिंहभारत्यभिधान्यतीन्द्रान् विद्यानिधीन् मन्त्रनिधीन् सदात्मनिष्ठान् भजे मानवशम्भुरूपान् सदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः पराङ्मुखं नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतीं विवेकिनं महाप्रज्ञं धैर्यौदार्यक्षमानिधिं सदाभिनवपूर्वं तं विद्यातीर्थगुरुं भजे। अज्ञानां जाह्नवीतीर्थं विद्यातीर्थं विवेकिनां सर्वेषां सुखदं भारतीतीर्थमाश्रये। विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विधुशेखरभारतीम् अविद्यारण्यकान्तारे भ्रमतां प्राणिनां सदा विद्यामार्गोपदेष्टारं विद्यारण्यगुरुं श्रये। आशैलादुदयात्तथास्तगिरितो भास्वद्यशो रश्मिभिः व्याप्तं विश्वमनन्धकारमभवद्यस्य स्म शिष्यैरिदम् आराद् ज्ञानगभस्तिभिः प्रतिहतश्चन्द्रायते भास्करः तस्मै शङ्करभानवे तनुमनो वाग्भिर्नमस्तात् सदा। With namaskarams to the lotus feet of Ubhaya Jagadgurus, to Sharadamba, to Shankara Bhagavat Pada, and with namaskarams to all of you today. With the blessings of Jagadgurus, we have the fortune of talking about Shankara Digvijaya, specifically Madhaviya Shankara Digvijaya, which is a kavya that details, as you all know, the story, the charitra of Bhagavat Pada. Of course, this is composed by the Acharya, the 12th Acharya of the Pitha, Shri Vidyaranya Swami, and this is a very beautiful work, and it's very fortunate. We are very fortunate to be able to discuss this for the coming 6 sessions. So this is in fact not an independent kavya written by Vidyaranya Swami, who was not just a poet par excellence, of course, a Brahmajnani, a Jivan Mukta, the force behind the establishment of the Vijayanagara Samrajya, the writer of several works in the Vedanta Shastra, such as Panchadashi, etc. The creator of works in other Shastras, such as Madhaviya Dhatupatha, and the Smriti Grantha Vyakhyas. So he was a very prolific writer in several areas, but in Kavya, his contribution was this Madhaviya Shankara Digvijaya. The Digvijaya that we are about to speak of is not an independent work per se. So meaning, this is not a work that Vidyaranya Swami wrote out of the blue. So as he says in the first Mangala Charana, Pranamya Paramatmanam Shri Vidyatirtha Rupinam Prachina Shankara Jaye Saras Sangrahyate Sphutam. So first, he does Namaskara to Paramatma in the form of the Guru. This is a very apt Mangala Charana, because the rule with Mangala Charanas is Ashir Namaskriya Vastu Nirdesho Vapi Tanmukham is what it says. So when beginning a kavya, Ashi, it should either be an Ashirvada, a blessing to the people that are reading it. So for example, in Champu Bharata, so he says, Kalyanam Vovidhattam. So he says, may Ganesha give Kalyana to all of you. So Kalyanam Vaha to all of you. So that is an Ashis that he is doing there. Other is Namaskriya. So you can do Namaskara. So Vagartha Vivasamprukto, Vagartha Pratipatte, Jagatah Pitaro, Vande. So Kalidasa himself does Namaskara to Parvati and Parameshwara in the beginning of Raghuvamsha. And this is one thing. The other thing you can do is Vastu Nirdesha. So again, Kalidasa in Kumara Sambhava starts with Astyuttarasyam Disha Devatatma Himalayo Nama Nagadhiraja. So he starts with the subject matter. So he starts just with, there is Himalaya in the north, the king among mountains. So these are the three ways that Shastra says you can begin a kavya, that tradition says. So Vidyaranya Swami here very nicely merges two of them. So in doing Namaskara to Paramatma, he does the Namaskara portion. And by saying Shri Vidyatirtha Rupinam, so this is actually something that Vidyaranya Swami does in a lot of his work. So also we see in Veda Bhashya, he starts Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram. So Yasya Nishwasitam Vedaha Yo Vedebhyo Khilan Jagan Nirmame Tamaham Vande Vidyatirtha Maheshwaram. So there he equates Vidyatirtha Swami, who was the 10th Acharya, so two preceding Vidyaranya Swami. Actually, he and the 11th Acharya, Bharati Tirtha Swami, were both students of Vidyatirtha Swami. So thus he was the Shishya of Vidyatirtha, and here he equates Paramatma with Vidyatirtha. So this is in a kind of roundabout way, it is a slight hint at the Vastu, the Vastu of this Kavya, the subject of this Kavya, who is the Guru, who is none other than Bhagavan Paramashiva. Because the Neta, we will see a shloka later, where the Nayaka, the hero of this Kavya, of this work, is Bhagavat Pada, who is Guru and Bhagavan. Not just Guru as Bhagavan, but actually Swayam Sadashiva himself. So in such a nice way, he does Namaskaram to Bhagavan. But here he says the nature of the Kavya. Prachina Shankara Jaye Saraha Sangrahyate Sputam. So Vidyaranya Swami was not the first to write Shankara Digvijaya. So there is actually an entire genre of literature in Samskrita Sahitya called Shankara Digvijaya. There are several, at least 7 to 8 texts over the course of time that have been called Shankara Digvijayas. So of these, this is one such. And there was one old text that he's referring to. So Prachina Shankara Jaye Saraha Sangrihyate. I am summarizing it. I am encapsulating it. I am shortening it. And so we see the person that has written the Kavya that Vidyaranya Swami is basing this work off of is called Vyasachala. His name is Vyasachala, and we'll get his name too. So this is, as I said, this is a Kavya of the highest order. And why Kavya? This is a question we need to talk about, right? So he could easily have written this as a history book. So in 820 AD, Acharya was born, and 32 years later he passed away. At this age he did this. He could very easily have just laid out the hows and whys and the history of Acharya's life. Why does Acharya then choose a Kavya to present this Shankara Digvijaya as? And the reason being that this is not meant to be just a historical detailing of events. This is meant to be a teaching. This is meant to be an upadesha. This is meant to be an adesha, right? Esha adesha, esha upadesha. And then actually to an extent to Esha Vedopanishad also comes, because Vidyaranya Swami discusses several Vedantic concepts through the guise of narrating Acharya's story. So the speciality of Kavya is, so they write in Prataparudriya, which is an Alankara Grantha, Yad Vedat Prabhu Sammitad Adhigatam Shabda Pradhanat Chiram, Yachartha Pravanat Purana Vachanadishtam Suhrit Sammitat, Kanta Sammitaya Yaya Sarasata Mapadya Kavya Shriya, Kartavye Kutuki Budho Virachitaha, Tasyai Spraham Kurmahe, he says. So there is dharma that is being taught. That is the main thing. So the essence of the Vedas, which is dharma and also jnana. Dharma jnanas are the essence of the Vedas, and that needs to be taught to everyone that is in this parampara. So Veda is Prabhu Samhita, it is called. It orders like a king. Satyam Vada, Dharman Chara. There is no room for argument, no hows and whys. I have said it, I have decreed it, do it. So this is Veda, Prabhu Samhita, and therefore Veda is, he says, Shabda Pradhanat. So Veda, the sound itself, just Shabdat. So just by those words occurring in Veda, the thing becomes pramana and forces us. It is called chodana. So chodana lakshanartha dharma, it forces us to act. And then a step underneath that is suhrit samhita. So like a friend comes the purana vangmaya. Yat chartha pravanat purana vachanadishtam suhrit samhitat. So Puranas tell the same thing that Vedas are telling us, but they tell it as a friend. So they'll give us stories. This is what happens if you do it. This is what happens if you don't. Here's what happened earlier. Here's a story that demonstrates this. So it is not as authoritative or as doesn't give orders the way a king does, but nonetheless, it still gives us an upadesha. Then we have Kavya, which is called Kanta Samhita. So as a beloved, as a lover, would coax and cajole one into, doing whatever it is that needs to be done. In the same way, Kavya, what does it do? Sarasata Mahapadya Kavya Shriya. It makes the medicine sweet. So, we may not be interested in such cut and dry orders, but if we put a romantic spin on it, a heroic spin on it, a compassionate spin on it, you put some rasa on it, then all of a sudden the work becomes very enticing and appealing, and you are moved to do dharma. So you are not just ordered to do dharma, but you will want to do dharma, which is why he says kartavye kutuki budho virachitah. So a buddha, a wise man who is reading this, he becomes a kutuki, namely one with enthusiasm, one that wants to do dharma. So it is not, there are some people, if you're an astika and you appreciate Veda and you can envision the glory of Veda, then sure, if Veda says it, you'll do it. There are some people who will say, Veda says it, so I'm doing it, but I do not want to do this. That is not the case with Kavya. If it is applied properly, you will become invested in this process, which is why Ramayana, works like Ramayana and Raghuvamsha and Kumarasambhava have had such a monumental impact on our Samskriti and our Dharma. So that is the reason why Kavya is being covered. And since I brought up Ramayana, there are several similarities actually between this Madhaviya Shankara Digvijaya and Ramayana, both in terms of the story and in terms of the way it is told. So just in terms of the story, the Nayaka is Bhagavan. So in Ramayana, Vishnu, in this, obviously Shiva, both are in human form. So both have taken upon a human body, and not like Krishna where it is a Maya Manusha Vigraha. Not like Krishna where it is a namesake human body. Actually, even Krishna was not born the way Rama was. So Krishna manifested, right? So Bhagavata, you have that Tamadbhutam Balakam Ambujakshanam. So Avirabhut. So Krishna manifested there. But Rama, he was a human. He was very much God in human form to do the avatara karya of killing Ravana and doing dharma samsthapana. So in the same way here, Bhagavat Pada is very much a human. His body is made up of panchabhutas and flesh and blood. But nonetheless, he is Paramashiva. So this is one similarity. Another similarity is in both cases, the lion's share of the story happens at a very young age. So as we all know, Bhagavat Pada, the entire lifespan is 32 years. Rama also, so he broke the Shivadhanus at a very young age, about 14, 15 or so. And then just 10 years after that, after spending 12 years in Ayodhya, he was sent to the forest, and the story only takes another 14 years after that. So if you do 14 plus 12, 26, 26 plus 14 becomes 40. So by the time that Ramayana ends, namely by the time that Rama has returned to Ayodhya, he is around the age of 40. So both of these kavyas, the nayakas are young men. They are men with vigor in them. They are both karma yogis. They are both people who are men of action. So this is another thing. Third thing that is very interesting that we'll see on the last day is both of these end in a pattabhisheka. So with Ramachandra, Ramayana ends in Rama Pattabhisheka. So Rama being coronated king of Ayodhya and the Kosala Samrajya. With this, it ends in Bhagavat Pada being crowned Sarvajna on the Sharada Pitha in Kashmira. So in this, there are several similarities to Ramayana, and there is one thing that Vidyaranya does in the beginning, and it is very interesting because this demonstrates a kind of facet of the way that Sanatana Dharma means to present things. The summary of the story of the text is given in the beginning itself. So तत्रादिम उपोद्घातः द्वितीये तु तदुद्भवः तृतीये तत्तदमृतान्धोऽवतार निरूपणं चतुर्थे तच्छुद्धाष्टम प्राक्चरितं स्थितं पंचमे तद्योग्य सुखाश्रम प्राप्ति निरूपणं महता नेहसा येषा संप्रदायागता गता तस्या शुद्धात्म विद्यायाः षष्ठे सर्गे प्रतिष्ठितिः. So in this way, in the first sarga, the Upodghata, namely the backstory, the Purvaranga, the backstory is set. Then in the Dvitiye to Tadudbhavaha, so Bhagavatpada's birth is detailed in the second sarga. In the third sarga, Tattad Amritandhovatara Nirupanam. So all the devatas taking birth along with Bhagavatpada. In the fourth, Tat Shuddha Ashtama Prakcharitra Nirupanam. So Bhagavatpada's Charitra up to the age of 8. Then in the fifth, Tad Sukhashrama, Tad Yogya Sukhashrama Prapti Nirupanam. Bhagavatpada entering Sannyasashrama. In the sixth, so Brahmavidya Prachara. In the seventh, you have Tad Vyasacharya Sandarsha Vichitram Saptame Sthitam. So the darshan of Vyasa and the samvada that happened with him. Then Sthitoshtame Mandanarya Samvadaha. So the argument with Mandana Mishra is in the 8th sarga. Navame Munehe Vani Sakshika Sarvagnya Nirupopaya Nirvahopaya Chintanam. So in the 9th, it is argument with Ubhaya Bharati Devi, who is Sharada herself. In the 10th, Buddha Meenadhvaja Kalaha Tat Prasanga Prapanchanam. So entering the king's body to learn the Manmatha Shastra and returning. Then Dvadashe Hastadhatriyarya Totakobhaya Samshraya. So in the 12th, we have the coming of Hasta Malakacharya and Totakacharya as students. Then Vartikanta Brahmavidya Chalanam. And then after that, you have the Ekadashadhyaya, which is the Ugra Bhairava Vadha, Ugra Bhairava Vidha Nirjaya. So the story of Ugra Bhairava, where Padmapada rescues Acharya. Then in the 12th, you have Brahmavidya Prachara. So here, all the students want to write bhashyas on Bhagavatpada's or Vartikas on Bhagavatpada's Brahmasutra Bhashya. And then in the 13th, you have, that is the 13th. And then in the 14th, you have Padmapada Tirthayatra Nirupanam. So Padmapada wants to go on Tirthayatras. And the 15th, Panchadashe Tuktam Digjaya, Tattadasha Jaya Kautukam. So Bhagavatpada's actual Digjaya. So this is like the way in movies today in India, we have the title song, right? So the movie's title will come in some song somewhere. In that way, this is titled Shankara Digjaya. So the Digvijaya happens in the 15th sarga, where he actually goes around, defeating all the Prativadis. And then in the 16th, Sharada Pitha Vasaha iti Shodashabhis Sargaihi Vyutpadya Shankari Katha. So thus, in 16 sargas, the story of Bhagavatpada has been laid out. Now, there is something to note here that is characteristic of our Bharatiya Sanatana Dharmika Kavyas and Granthas. The same thing where the entire text is summed up in the beginning happens in numerous kavyas. So the Adikavya Ramayana itself, the first sarga, Bala Ramayana, is a summary of the kavya. The same thing happens in Mahabharata. So why is this a thing, right? So in kavyas, especially in these dramas or natakas or in these works of art, what purpose does this serve? The reason being, the goal of these Acharya Purushas who write. So obviously there are kavyas where this doesn't happen, like Kumara Sambhava, Megha Sandesha, there won't be a summary. But a lot of kavyas which are written by Rishi Tulyas. So Vyasa Maharshi, Valmiki Maharshi, Vidyaranya Maharshi. So when these rishis write kavyas or works, there is this sampradaya of summarizing the work in the first sarga. The reason being, the rishi's goal in writing this text is to teach. And if the reader is caught up in suspense and drama while reading the text, they may miss out on the teaching that is supposed to happen. Not that there won't be, some utkantha or something, but The thing is, now you know the story, you know what is happening. But more important than what is happening is how it is happening and why it is happening. So we are not so much interested in the raw, cut and dry story. So there is a saying in Telugu about Ramayana, katte kotte teche. Katte, Rama built the bridge, kotte, he hit Ravana, he killed Ravana, teche, he brought back Sita. If you want to sum up Ramayana, this is enough. This is what happened in Ramayana. Ado Rama tapovanadi gamanam, hatva mrigam kanchanam vaidehi haranam jatayu maranam. We have these shlokas where, this is Ramayana in one shloka. If you want to know just the story of Rama, that one shloka will suffice. But that is not the point of Valmiki Maharshi writing Ramayana. He wants to give us an ideal of dharma, dharmajnashcha, kritajnashcha, satyavakyo, dridhavrataha, charitreyancha ko yuktaha, sarva bhuteshu ko hitaha, vidvanakaha, kaha samarthaha. He asks Narada Maharshi for someone with all these characteristics because his goal is to give this world the highest possible ideal of dharma that will stand for centuries and eons. So the goal of Ramayana is not what Rama did, but why he did it and how he did it. In the same way, in this Shankara Digvijaya, the main goal of Vidyaranya Swami is not what Shankara did, because there are Shila Shasanas for that, and there are plenty of other ways he could have conveyed it. And actually, there is an Eka Shlokatmaka Shankara Digvijaya too that has been written. It is there on the Sringeri Videos channel, not the official channel, but there is one channel that posts clips. It is there on that. So the goal of Vidyaranya Swami here is to show how Acharya lived his life, how Acharya led his life, how he taught, how he walked, how he ran situations around him. So my humble, feeble attempt over the next few sessions will be not to tell the story, because you all are all, you have heard this several times, at times from the Jagat Gurus themselves. There is nothing more I can contribute. But what little I have learned by Jagat Guru's grace and what little I feel that I have learned from this, I will put forth. And the lessons that Vidyaranya Swami wants to learn as we progress through the events of Bhagavad Pada's life, that I think will be the focus of my next few prasangas. So that is why he writes, right after detailing this, he says, Saisha Kalimala Chetri Sakritshutya api kamada Nana Prashnottarai Ramya Vidam Arabhyate Mude. So he says, Saisha, so this katha, this story of Shankaracharya is Kalimala Chetri. It destroys the doshas that are brought of Kali, namely and Kali stands for Tamoguna. So Nidra Alasya Pramadotham Tattava Samudahritam. So Nidra, Alasya, Pramada, Krauryam, Himsa, Anavekshacha Paurusham, Mohat Arabhyate Karma. So all of these negative effects of Kali, of Tamoguna, are removed by this. How Sakrit Shrityapi, if you listen to it just once. This is one thing we need to take in mind. Shravana. What does Shravana mean? Shravana means Shadvidhalinga Purvaka Tatparyavadharanam is the definition of Shravana that Shastras have given, right? So we have Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana in Vedanta. So Shravana means a vichara being done on the subject matter and ascertaining the end goal, the true purport of what has been said. So Shravana does not just mean the sound waves entering the ear, the story going in one ear and out the other. This only becomes proper Shravana when we have listened to it with faith, with Shraddha, and we have tried to learn what the true goal of this text is. So that is what we should try to do while listening to Shankara Digvijaya. And so as not to trouble us too much as to how we should arrive at the end goal of this, Vidyaranya Swami himself says, Nana Prashnottarahi Ramya. So there are several samvadas that happen. There are several questions and answers that take place throughout the course of the Shankara Digvijaya. And there I have put the teachings of Bhagavad Pada that you need to learn. So this is something that happens in numerous places. So he will go into a long description of how Acharya debated with some Pratipakshi. No, it is very easy to say Acharya debated with Prabhakara, one. Acharya debated with Bhattabhaskara, one. Acharya talked with Kapalikas, one. Acharya talked with Vaishnavas, one. These are, these are just tick marks that he can write. But the reason why he goes into such long details of what Acharya said, how the other person countered, how Acharya did Khandana. So in things, there are two, Khandana, Mandana, it is called in doing Vada. So Khandana, you need to refute the other side. Mandana, you need to embellish and present your side and show why the truth is present. So Vidyaranya Swami goes to great lengths to put these things in. So this is another thing that we need to keep in mind as we listen to Shankarajaya. And as I said earlier, Shankaracharya's Katha has been written several times by at least 7 to 8 people. Obviously, there have been more. So Vidyaranya Swami says, yes, I know that several people have written Bhagavad Pada's story before, but I also want to do it, and I hope this will be to the liking of Bhagavad Pada. He says, Statopi samyak kavibhiv puranehi krityapi nastushyatu bhashyakaraha kshirabdhivasi sarasiruhakshaha kshiram punah kin chakamena goshthe. So this is a, a very beautiful, submission of Vinaya. Even such a great Acharya like Vidyaranya, who made a Kanakadhara fall for the sake of Harihara and Bukka, the way that Acharya did that day, such a great tapasvi. And verily Bhagavad Pada himself is saying this. So although great poets and greater poets have praised Bhagavad Pada in the past, I hope that with this humble offering of mine, Bhashyakaraha Tushyatu, let Bhagavad Pada, who wrote the Prasthanatrayi Bhashyas, may he be pleased. And you can ask, you can say, what need does he have of your praises again? That is not the case. Let me give you a simile, an upamana. Kshirabdhivasi sarasiruhaksha. Sarasiruhaksha Padmaksha. Vishnu himself, who sleeps in an ocean of milk. So if he wants milk, he can just get a glass and dunk it in the ocean next to him and drink. But Kshiram punah kin chakamena goshthe, when he became Krishna and Krishnavatara, did he not just want, but did he not steal the milk and butter of the Gopakas and the Gopalas there? So if someone who lives in the ocean of milk can be happy with another glass of milk of a Gopala, cannot Bhagavan Bhashyakara, Bhagavatpada, be pleased with my humble offering? So kind of a funny aside, there is a poem in Telugu where he says kind of a different spin on the same thing. Ksheerasagar Palasandramandu Pavvalinchadu Swami Gollavari Palu Koranela Yedutivari Sommu Ellavara Kutipi. So he says, the reason, though Bhagavan is sleeping in the Ksheerasagar, in the ocean of milk, he wants the milk of the Gopalakas. Why? Wealth is more enticing when it is in someone else's hands than we ourselves have it. So that is not the thing that is being presented here. What is being presented here is Krishna as Bhagavan, though he is sleeping and he is on the Sheshatalpa in the Ksheerasagara, he was very much pleased with the offerings of milk that the Gopakas made to him. In the same way, may Bhagavad Pada please, be happy, content with my small offering. And then he lists 2 or 3 reasons about why he is telling this. So one thing is, Punanityarthesmin says Pushpadanta and Shiva Mahimna, to purify my speech. We in everyday life are engaged in several useless chit chat. We speak of several things that do not need to be spoken of. We glorify several people that do not deserve to be glorified. We speak disparagingly of people who do not deserve to be disparaged. So our vak has accumulated a lot of mala. We have accumulated a lot of vachika papa, dushta samskara over the course. So by speaking of such dharmika purushas, such divya purushas as Bhagavad Pada, our speech will be purified. So that is what he says very beautifully. Bandhya sunu khari vishana sadasha kshudra kshitindra kshama kshaurya audarya dayadi varnana kala kala durvasana vasidam madvanim adhivasayami yaminaha trailokya rangasthali Trailokya Rangasthali Nritya Kirti Nati Patira Patali Churnaihi Vikirnaihi Kshito. So such a beautiful flow we see of Kavitva that Vidyaranya Swami presents. So he says, my speech has Durvasana Vasidam. It has become filled with Durvasana. So bad tendencies it has gotten for itself. How? By praising the qualities of Kshudra Kshitindra, of praising lowly kings. These kings who are bhogalalasas, who are living for sense pleasures. And I am praising their qualities. What kind of qualities? Kshama, Shaurya, Audarya, their daya, their valor, their magnanimity. I am praising all of these qualities. But what are these qualities like? He throws in a bit of Shastric terminology. Vandhya Sonu, Khari Vishana. So Vandhyasura means the son of a barren woman. Khari Vishana. So the example in Shastra is Shashashringa, right? The horn of a rabbit. So these two are things that do not exist. In Vedanta, these are called asat or atyanta asat, tuchha, it is called. So something that exists at no point in time. So non-existence is referred to by the similes of Vandhyasunu and Khari Vishana, of a barren woman's son and of a rabbit's horn. So these qualities in kings, their Kshama, their Shaurya, their Audarya, are like these. They are like Vandhyasunus and Khari Vishanas. They don't exist, and I am praising them. Namely, this dosha now is twofold. I am saying things that are not true, one. Two, I am praising people that ought not to be praised. So to clean my vak, to clean my speech of these defects, madvacham arhivasayami. I now submit my speech. I am leaving my speech to the mercy of who? Yaminaha. So to the sannyasi. So this is not someone who is in bhogas. This is yamin, someone who has control of himself, of his indriyas, of his manas. So, and not just any mere sannyasi, but one whose kirti dances on the stage of the three worlds. So Yamina, Trailokya Rangasthali Nrityat Kirti Nati. So such a great Bhagavat Pada I am speaking of. And that is the subject matter. That is why my vak needs to be purified. But here is what I am now speaking about. Netayathrollasati Bhagavat Pada Sanyo Maheshah Shantiryatra Prakachati Rasaha Sheshavan Ujvaladyehi शेषवानुज्वलाद्यैः यत्रा विद्या क्षतिरपि फलं तस्य काव्यस्य कर्ता धन्यो व्यासाचलकविवरः तत्कृतिज्ञाश्च धन्याः, says Vidyaranya Swami. So this is a kriti, this is a work wherein Neta Yatrollasati Bhagavatpada Sanyo Mahesha. So the Nayaka, right, the leader defines the kavya. You will never see in proper Indian Sahitya some rowdy, some mean fellow, some adharmika as a leader. It is only these days that people have made movies showing Ravana as a hero, showing Kichaka as a hero, showing Duryodhana as a hero. That is not sampradaya baddha. That is not acceptable. Actually, Mahasanidhanam Varu said, Nasmadrishaha evam vidham uchshrinkalam margam sammanvate, he said. So someone came and tried to tell him something that was against sampradaya. He says, Mahasanidhanam Varu said, people like us do not accept these uchshrinkala margas. Namely, they are not bound by anything. Whatever their agenda is, they want to promote that. We are not bound by that. We do not condone that. Mahasanidhanam Varu said. In a very, the people that know the Samskrita will know how gambhira that vakya is. In that way, these Bharatiya kavyas will not give us any lame fellow as a neta. We have as the Nayaka of this kavya, Bhagavat Pada Sanyo Mahesha. Mahesha, Sakshat Paramashiva himself, who is in the form of Guru. He is the Nayaka of this kavya. He is the person that is the subject matter of the story. And Shantir Yatra Prakachedina Saha Sheshava Ujvaladyehi. So every kavya has a pradhana rasa. So we have the 9 rasas, Shangara Veera Bhatahasya Bhaya, Shangara Veera Karunat Bhatahasya Bhayanakaha, Vibhatsa Raudrocha Rasaha. And then of course, in due course of time, so in Bharata's time, these were only there, but later on in time, the Shanti Rasa also got added, and later on some other people tried to add things like Vatsalya and things like that. But the rasa here, so the mode of experience that dominates the kavya is Shanti. Now think why? Because the Nayaka is a sannyasi. Because the thing being taught through this is Brahma Vidya, Shanti, absolute calm and peace must be the rasa present. obviously Shringara and like Shakuntala, Shringara is the dominant rasa because the subject matter is the romance between Dushyanta and Shakuntala. In other things like um, in things like Anargharaghavam by Murari, the main rasa there is Veera rasa or the Nrisimha Champu by the Kavis. There the rasa will be Veera rasa because the subject matter Rama's Pratapa is what is being detailed. Then there are things like Karuna Rasa. So Ramayana, Valmiki's Ramayana is Karuna Rasa Pradhana. So Karuna Rasa will be important there. But here, Shanti Rasa is the main one, and Sheshavan Ujjwaladhyahi. So Ujjwala is Veera Rasa, and Sheshavan, Nama Sheshi, Sheshi iti. So this is Mimamsa Paribhasha. So Sheshi is the Pradhana Karma. So Sheshavan is the Pradhana Karma, Shesha is the Anga Karma. So the parallel here is the Shanti is the main rasa, the Veera Rasa, Karuna Rasa, Shringara Rasa, all of these play supporting roles. So they're not the main focus. And what is the prayojana of this kavya? Yatra vidya kshatirapi phalam. So the removal of avidya is phalam. So what is the goal of this kavya? Removing avidya, meaning vidya prapti. Prapta prapti parihrita parihara, right? Just as Shastra says. So removal of avidya, meaning gaining of Brahma vidya is the phala, the end goal of this kavya. So now, how long do we need to read Shankara Digvijaya? How many times do we need to learn about Bhagavad Pada's Charitra until we get the phala, right? So, aphalodaya karminam, says Kalidasa of the Raghumsha Rajas. They worked until the phala came. So if the phala of this Shankara Digvijaya is avidya kshati, it follows that we must study Bhagavad Pada's Charitra and learn from his Charitra until we get that. So this is one point to learn. And who is the person that he is drawing from? Asya kavyasya karta, tasya kavyasya karta dhanyah Vyasachala Kavivaraha. So there is one person, one Kavi named Vyasachala who has written this. And Vidyaranya Swami is summarizing that. Actually, in some cases, he even takes shlokas verbatim from that Vyasachala Kavi. So such is the illustrious poet that wrote it. Therefore, tat kritignyascha dhanyaha. Those that know of this, those that learn this, those that study this, those that are fortunate like me to be able to tell it, fortunate like all of you to be able to listen to it, they also are all dhanyas. And to make sure that Vidyaranya Swami, to make sure that he is able to write about the illustrious Acharya, he prays to Sharadamba. And this prayer we all also must do, both for me to, my Vak Shakti is obviously nothing in front of Jagat Gurus and Panditas. So I also must pray to Sharadamba then to allow her to transmit Bhagavad Pada's glory. So Vidyaranya Swami says, Asmad Jahvagra Simhasanampanayatu Swoktidhara Udaram Advaitacharya Padi Stutikrita Sukrutodarata Sharadamba Nrityan Mrityunjayochai Tumula. He says, Tumula Nata Kuti Nisravat Swasravanti Nrityat Mrityunjayochaistu Mukuta Tata Kuti Nisravat Swasravanti Kallolodvela Kolahala Mada Hara Panditya Hridyam Madahala Madalahari Khandi Panditya Hridyam Asmad Jihvagra Simhasana Upanayatu Swoktidhara Mudaram Advaitacharya Pada Stutikrita Sukrutodarata Sharadamba Nrityan Mrityunjayochair Mukuta Tata Kuti Nisravat Swasravanti Kallolodvela Kolahala Madalahari Khandi Panditya Hridyam. Such a beautiful flow of samasas that Vidyaranya Swami uses. So he says, Sharadamba, may that Mother Sharada, who is enshrined in Sringeri, Asmad Jihvagra Simhasanam Upanayatu Swoktidharam. May she bring to my tongue good speech. And what kind of Sharadamba? Advaitacharya Pada Stuti Krita Sukrutodarata. One whose great power, one whose Sukrita, one whose auspiciousness has been amply praised by Bhagavad Pada. And what kind of speech should she give me? Nrityan mrityunjayochchairmakutatakuti nisravat swasravante kallo lodvela kola hala madalahari khandi panditya hridyam. So this is the Vakjhari that Vidyaranya uses to pray to Sharadamba for increased Vak. So now think of the way that he wrote the rest of the Kavya. Give me a flow of speech, a flow of Kavitva that rivals, nay, wins over, surpasses the flow of Ganga that jumps from Bhagavan Paramashiva's head as he does Tandava. So if normally Ganga is, with tumultuous waves, then if Bhagavan Shiva is also doing Tandava, then it becomes even more tumultuous, and those waves, the kind of udhrati, the kind of flow those waves will have, give me speech that outshines such flow. So doing namaskaram to Sharadamba, he then enters into the subject matter, which is, he starts from Kailasa. Ekada devataha rupyachalastham devadevam tusharamshumiva purvachalassthitam. So once the devatas all went to the god, to the Bhagavan who sits astride the Rupyachala, the silver mountain Kailasa. And how was Shiva sitting on top of Kailasa? Tusharamshumiva purvachalassthitam, like Chandra upon the Udayagiri, upon the eastern mountain where he rises. So in Kavya, Dhvani is Mukhya. Kavyas are said to be Dhvani Pradhana, meaning there will be subtones that hint at things. So this is the first shloka, absolute first shloka that details the story in the first sarga. So by saying that Bhagavan is like Chandra on the mountain, the rising moon on top of the mountain, Chandra is Ahladakara. So Chandra, and there he also says Tusharamshu. So the word used for Chandra is he with cool rays of light. So Chandra is Ahladakara, and also he is rising, meaning Bhagavan Shankara, Shiva, is about to do something that is uplifting and causes happiness to all around. And the Devatas then tell Shiva what the sorry state of affairs is on earth. Nasandhyadine karmani nyasam va na kadachana karoti manusha kaschita sarve pakhandatangataha. Bhagavan, no one does anything that is avaidika karma anymore. Very few people are doing it. Sandhyadini karmani, no one is doing Sandhya Vandana. So, of all the things that Vaidika Brahmanas are supposed to do, Sandhya Vandana is the most preliminary, most basic, and least time taking. 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, in the evening, and in the afternoon. That's all it takes. Namely, half an hour out of your day is all that you need to do Sandhya Vandana. So if they are not even doing Sandhya Vandana, it is such a sorry state on earth. So a reminder to us again, we must do Sandhya Vandana. Sandhya Vandana needs to be done regularly. There is no excuse. If you have gotten Upanayana, if you have had Gayatri Mantropadesha, you absolutely must do Sandhya Vandana. So this is one teaching that he has given us. He also says, Katham yajñāh pravarteran katham kratubhujo vayam shrute piladhiti shrotre kraturityakshara-dvaye katham yajñāh pravarteran katham kratubhujo vayam, he says. The Devata says. So as soon as the word yajna comes, these people close their ears. Why? Then Bauddhas were actively getting in the way of yajnas in the name of Pashuhimsa. So if yajnas don't happen, Bhagavan, how are we? We are kratubhuk. We subsist off of the offerings. If this Yajnika says Indraya Swaha Indraya Nama, then only Indra can come, get that havis and eat. So if they don't do those yajnas, how are we supposed to eat? And this is the state of people outside Sanatana Dharma. Is Sanatana Dharma itself in one piece? Shaiva Vishna Gama Parayehi Linga Chakra Richinhitaihi Pakhandeih Karma Sanyastam Karunyamiva Durjanaihi. So Shaivas and Vaishnavas are fighting amongst themselves. Shaiva says Vishnu is nothing. You should not worship Vishnu. Doing Vishnu worship is avaidika. Shiva worship alone should be done. And he will stamp one linga in his neck. In the meantime, one Vaishnava will come. He will say, Shiva is a Kshudra Devata. You should not worship Shiva. Vishnu alone is the greatest god. And he will go and brand Shankha Chakras on 2 arms and go. So these two are fighting. In the meantime, what has come? Pakhandeh karma sanyastam. Some people have let go of karma itself altogether. So, this is, they have let go of this. And a beautiful simile here, Pakhandeh karma sanyastam. Pakhandas have absolutely let go of karma. How? Karunyamiva durjanaihi. As evil men let go of mercy, the quality of mercy, in the same way these Pakhandas, these Avaidikas have let go of karma. Very nice simile there, he puts them. So, and Shiva says, so okay, so what do you want me to do now? Well, I have understood your problems. What do you want me to do? Tad bhavan loka rakshartham utsadya nikhilan khalan vartma sthapayatu shrautam jagadyena hitam jagadyena sukham vrajet. Our needs are very simple, Bhagavan. So utsadya nikhilan kalan. So kalan loka rakshartham, to protect the world, you need to do two things. Utsadya nikhilan kalan, you need to drive out these evil minds and these evil men. And Shrautam Vartma Samsthapetu, please enforce the Vaidika Marga, that by which Jagadyena Sukham Vrajet, that which gives Shreyas to this world, that which gives not just Shreyas but Nishreyasa. Nishreyasa is moksha to this world. So the avatara karya of Bhagavad Pada has been laid out here. It is true. Utsadya Nikhilan Khalan is one thing, and Samsthapayato Shrautam Vartma, and bolster the Vaidika Marga, do samsthapana of it, which is exactly the avatara karya that Bhagavan talks about in Gita. Vinashaya cha dushkratam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkratam. So that is why Bhagavan responds giving them abhaya. Yatindra Shankaro nama bhavishyami mahitale. So okay, I shall become a Yatindra, I shall become a sannyasi namely Shankara, with the name of Shankara, and take birth in this world. Kanda trayatmake vede prodhrite syad vijodhriti. So he says, when the Kanda trayatmaka Veda is uplifted, then the Chaturvarnya, so all Varnas and all ashramas will get Shreyas. What are these Kanda Trayas? Generally, we hear Kanda Dvaya Upapadhyaya, right? We say Kanda Dvaya Upapadhyaya Karma Brahma Sarupani. So Veda has two Kandas in it, is what we generally hear. One Kanda being karma, one kanda being jnana, right? Purva kanda, uttara kanda, jnana kanda, karma kanda, jnana kanda. So one professor is doing karma for chitta shuddhi, the other professor is getting jnana for moksha. So we are generally familiar with this kanda dvaya. What is this kanda traya that Shiva is talking about? He says karma, yoga, or he says karma, upasana, yoga, karma are the three kandas that Shiva is talking about right now. So Shiva says, already with me, Vishnu and I are best friends. We have an agreement on how things need to function. So I have already started on this work, and I have spoken with Vishnu, and already Sankarshana and Shesha have gone to the earth to do Uddharana of two of these. So as Sankarshana, he has done Uddharana of Upasana. So we actually used to have a kanda called Sankarshana Kanda. So Mimamsa, so Karma Kanda is called Dvadasha Lakshani. So Jaimini, Atha Parama Karuniko Bhagavan, Dvadasha Lakshanim Praninaya is how generally Mimamsa Shastra starts. So, sorry, Jaimini Maharshi wrote the Mimamsa Sutras split into 12 adhyayas. But sometimes there is also 4 more adhyayas that are combined into this, making it a total of 16. So it is sometimes called Shodashi. These 4 adhyayas were written by a Maharshi called Sankarshana, and this detailed Upasana Kanda. It is our misfortune that this text is not available. There are no extant versions of this text, nor are there bhashyas or anything on it. We only know it exists because Bhagavad Pada and Bhattacharya and others make references to them in the bhashya. They refer to certain vakyas from it in their bhashyas, but else we do not have it. So the Sankarshana Kanda has been uplifted by Sankarshana, and Patanjali Maharshi, who is the avatar of Shesha, has done Uddharana of the Yoga Marga via the Yoga Sutra. So the four adhyayas and 4 adhyayas, 4 padas, all of that. So these two have been done. So then Shiva says, I will take care of it. And then he tells Subramanya to take avatar as Kumarila Bhatta, as Bhattacharya, Bhattapada. He is reverentially called, and in scholarly circles and especially in our Sringeri Parampara, we hold the utmost respect for him. So actually, Mahasanidhanam Varu does not even like it if you don't use the word Pada at the end. Someone once in a sabha, so Nagesha Bhatta is one Pandita that he wrote prolifically in Vyakarana. But the thing is, a lot of the times he goes against the Kaumudikara Mata, and Kaumudikara is generally the standard. So once someone said he referred to Nagesha Bhatta as Bhattapada apparently in a sadas, and Mahasanidhanam said no, Bhattapada is only Kumarila Bhatta Swami, so Bhattacharya. So that is the regard that we hold Kumarila Bhatta in, and he did re-establishment of the Karmakanda of Vedas. His story we will see later in this Digvijaya. So now going into the Laukika portion. So we have Bhagavat Pada's father, Shivaguru. So Kaschid Vipaschidi Hanischala Dhir Vireje Vidyadhiraja Iti Vishrata Namadeya. So he starts with Bhagavat Pada's grandfather actually, who was a Brahmana by the name of Vidyadhiraja living in Tato Mahesha Kila Keraleshu, Srimad Vrashadrau Karuna Samudra. So in the Kerala Desha, close to the Vrishaparvata, in an Agrahara called Kalati, there was this one Pandita called Vidyadhiraja. He had a son named Shivaguru. Putro Bhavatasya Pratta Punye Subramhatejaha Shivaguru Abhikhyaha. Jnane Shivo Yo Vachane Gurustasyanvarthanama Krita. Tasyanvarthanama Krita Shuddhavarana, Labdhavarana. So he says Vidyaranya. So he had that Vidyadhiraja had a son called Shivaguru, and he says, true to his name, he was like Shiva in Jnana and like Guru, like Brihaspati in his Vak. So that is the caliber of Shivaguru. And this Shivaguru attained Brahmacharya and did everything that he was supposed to do in the Gurukula. Sab Brahmachari, Guru Gehavasi, Tat Karyakari, Vihitanna Bhoji, Sayam Prabhatancha Hutashasevi, Vratena Vedam Nija Madhyagishta. Adhyagishta, very nice verb prayoga here. So Sab Brahmachari, Guru Geha Vasi. So as was the custom, Guru, he was in the Guru's house, in the Gurukula. Tat Karyakari, doing the seva of the Guru. Vihitanna Bhoji, he was only eating whatever, once he brought back from Bhiksha, once Guru Patni had cooked, he only ate what was given to him. Sayam Prabhatancha Hutashasevi, he was doing Samidadhana, tending to Agni in the morning and the evening. And Vratena Vedam Nija Madhyagishta, with great passion, with great shraddha, with great interest, he studied his Veda, and he attained immense Panditya, not just in the Veda, but in the Vedangas and in the Shastras. And actually, very interestingly, Shivaguru wanted to take sannyasa. Shivaguru wanted to take sannyasa. If he had, it is our fortune that he didn't take sannyasa, because if he did, we would not have had Bhagavat Pada. So the Acharyas and the fathers, so all the Vriddhas, the Kula Vriddhas there, tell him that there is a need for you to become a Grihastha. Arthavabodhana parohi vichara eva tacha pichitra bahu karma vidhana hetoh atradhikaram adhigacchati sadviteyah kritva vivahamiti vedavidam pravadaha. So why is Grihastha important? This is what they're detailing. They start in a very interesting place. See, you have studied Vedas, right? You have studied Vedas and Vedangas. What is the true phala for the Vedas? So actually, even in Mimamsa Sutras, this is how it starts. So why is this Mimamsa Shastra? So in any Shastra, first there needs to be an Arambhaniyavada. So idam Shastram Arambhaniyam va utana. So does the Shastra have a necessity or no? So what does Mimamsa do? It gets to the meanings of Vedas. So the first sutra is Athato Dharma Jignasa. So Ataha Dharma Jignasa. Atha, now, Ataha, therefore, Dharma Jignasa, a desire to know Dharma, meaning the meaning of the Veda starts. So what, therefore, now, Dharma is desired to be learned. And now, therefore, what is this now, therefore? Atha, Veda Madhitya, having done Veda, Ataha, Therefore, why therefore? Because knowing the meaning of Veda is knowing the meaning of Veda and carrying out Veda is a drishta prayojana. Asya drishta prayojanatvat. So therefore, because knowing the meaning of Veda and carrying out the injunctions of Veda is a drishta prayojana, it is an obvious end need for Veda. Mimamsa needs to be done, so you know what Veda means. That is what they're reminding him of here. Arthavabodhana parohi vichara eva. So your study of the Vedas is only fruitful when you have understood its meaning properly and put those into action. So tachapi chitra bahukarma vidhana hetoh. So you need to learn the meaning of Veda. Why? So you can do whatever Somayaga, Vajpeya, Indragnam, this Kapalam Nirvapeta, all of these Vaide Nirvapeta, all of these Nirvapeta, all of these Kariraha, Vrishtikamiha, Karirena Yajeta, all of these things, Sargakama Yajeta, all of these Veda karmas that Veda has set out for us. Vayavyam, Shvetakamam, Arabheta. So all of these Veda Vakyas that are there, these all need to be understood and carried out, which is why you have done all of this study. So because your study is only fruitful when you have understood and done what Veda tells you to do, and atrahikaram adhigachati sadvitiya, because only one who is married, notice, the man is not complete without the wife is not complete without the man. These two need to be together. Bharya and Bharta, Pati and Patni need to be together in this path. Only when both of them are together will you get adhikara to do Vaidika dharma. So atra adhikaram adhigachati sadvitiya kritva vivaham. So if you wish to make all of this learning that you have done fruitful, you need to do Vaidika karmas. To do Vaidika karmas, to have adhikara to do that, you need to have a wife sitting next to you. So therefore, you need to get married. So he said, okay, he got married. He married a sadhvi named Aryamba. And although they did all the duties of Grahastha Dharma, namely they tended the Tretagnis, the Garhapatya, Dakshina, and Ahavaniya, they were doing Annadana to everyone. Vidyaranya Swami writes that the Yajna Prasada they were giving in their house was so good that Devatas lost their taste for Amrita and they much preferred the Anna that the Naivedyas and the Havis that Shivaguru was giving. So though they were doing all of that, there was one thing that prevented them from being truly happy. Rupeshu maraha, kshamaya vasundhara, vidyasu vriddha, dhaninam purassaraha, garvanabhignya, vinayi sadanatah, sanopalebhe, tanayananam jaran. So although they were very beautiful to look at, vidyasu vriddha, they were very learnt. Shivaguru was very learnt. Dhaninam purassaraha, he was very wealthy as well. And Garvana Bhignya Vinayi Sadanata, he was also he had a good temperament too. But Sanopale Tanayananam Jaran, he was getting older, he was aging, but Tanayananam Nopale, he did not have the fortune of seeing a son's, smiling face. So he asked Aryamba, what do you want me to do? Notice he asked Aryamba, not someone else. Kalidasa says, Kriyanam khalu dharmyanam sat patnyo mulakaranam. For anything that is good to happen, for anything that is dharmic to happen, the patni, the mata of the house is the main support. So he asked Aryamba, what do you think we should do? She said, what is there to think about here? Bhaktepsitartha parikalpana kalpavriksham devam bhajamakamidas sakalartha siddhi atropamanyu mahima paramam pramanam no devatasu jadima manushye. This last line, the second line and last line, we need to underline with red ink because this is a very important thing to keep in mind. So she says our Kuladaiva is Parameshwara. So he has actually a Swayambhulinga in that Kshetra. So our Kuladaiva is Parameshwara. Kam Daivam itaf param, Daivam param kamitaha bhajava. Who other than our Kuladaiva should we worship? So one thing to keep in mind is our Ishtadevata may be anyone. Sanatana Dharma gives us the lovely freedom of worshipping Bhagavan in whichever way that we wish to. But all this needs to be done while paying homage to our Kula Devatas, because they are the Devatas that have been guarding our family for eons, And our forefathers also have prayed to them. Namely, our forefathers' tapas is registered with them. So to pass on that fruit to us, we need to pray to them. So Aryamba here says we must pray to our Kuladevata to get to get a son that we want. And she says, and we do not have to worry about Bhagavan not listening to us. And she says, Atro Upamanyu Mahima Paramam Pramanam. So we have the story of Upamanyu in the Veda, in Puranas. Upamanyu is a little boy, and he himself doing tapas for the sake of something small like milk gets Shiva Darshana and gets a great phala. So Shiva will definitely look after those who do Sharanagati to him. And then she says, we don't have to worry that he won't be responsive because no devatasu jedima, jedima manushye, jadatva, namely, so unresponsiveness, dullness, inertness is not there in devatas, it is there in humans. So what does this mean? One thing is, if we do any kamya karma, let's say we want money, so we worship Lakshmi Devi. If we don't get money, we lose faith in Lakshmi Devi. It is not her fault that you don't have the karma to get money, right? So no devatasu jedima. It is not her unresponsiveness. Jedima manushye. There is some fault in us. So in Nyaya Shastra they say we have done. So in Gautama Maharshi says tad apramanam anrita vyaghata punarukta doshatva. So he says one dosha in Veda and Shastra is anrita. So we have done what Veda said, and we didn't get it. But that is not true. Kartra karana sadhana vaigunyat. So he says. So kartra, the karta may not be entirely pure. Karana, the implements used may not be entirely pure. Sadhana, the way you did it, the way that you got everything to do may not be entirely pure. So all of these things, only when these happen, only when there is no jadatva in any of these, will the karma bear fruition. Ishvara is, Vaishamya Narikharanyena Sapekshatvat is the Brahma Sutra. He has neither Vaishamya, he does not have any particular Pakshapata to anyone, nor against anyone, nor does he have Nairgrhanya, nor is he devoid of mercy. So it is not Bhagavan's fault if we don't get anything. It is our mistake thus far for not worshipping him. So it is our jadatva for not asking Bhagavan thus far. It is not his problem. So let us worship him. Yesha santoshitum tapobhi somardhamurdhanam umardhamisha. Such nice words. Somardhamurdhanam umardhamisha. So therefore they resolved upon them, those that Punya Dampati resolved to worship Somardhamurdhanam. So to worship that Bhagavan who has the moon upon his head. And of course, then Garbham Dadhara. So she became pregnant, and interesting, he says, Madhye punar madhyamikam matancha subhrumanehe garbhaga eva sosau drab garhyamasa mahatma garhyam. So he says, so generally the waist of any lady is described to be very thin, right? So Akasha Madhya. So what is it in Harshaneshadha? So Sri Harsha says that Damayanti's waist had astinasti vichikitsa. It was so thin that people did not know if it was there or not. So such hyperboles are common in Kavitva. But he says that, so Shankaracharya is now in the womb, within the stomach, and he sees that Aryamba's Madhya Bhaga, her middle portion, has Shunyavada. Shunya meaning nothingness. So her waist is so thin that is Shunya. But the baby Shankara within saw that, oh, there is Shunyavada here. I must immediately get rid of this. So because Shankaracharya wanted to get rid of the Shunyavada regarding Aryamba's waist, the stomach swole and the pregnant stomach came about. So a nice poetic pun he has said. So it is not that the womb became big because of pregnancy. Bhagavatpada saw even within the womb itself that there was Shunyavada, and because his avatara karya is getting rid of Shunyavada wherever it exists, he immediately got rid of it by making the womb expand. So this is such nice poetry he writes about the pregnancy. And then in Punyakala, Bhagavatpada was born. Lagne Shubhe Shubhayute Sushuve Kumaram Shri Parvativa Sukhini Shubhavikshitecha जाया सती शिवगुरोः निज तुंग संस्थे सूर्ये kuje ravisute च गुरौ च केन्द्रे. So here he beautifully describes the birth of Shankaracharya, and at the time of the birth, as they said in Kumara Sambhava, in Kumara Sambhava they say when Parvati Devi was born, Prasannadik Pamsu Viviktavatam Shankhasvananantara Pushpavrishti Babhau Tajjan Sharirinam Sthavara Jangamanam Sukhaya Tajjanmadinam Babhuva. So when Parvati Devi was born, Prasannadik, all the directions were calm. Pamsu Viviktavatam, the wind blew without any dust in it. So basically a clear, pleasant wind blew. Shankhasvananantara Pushpavrishti, the Devata Vadyas were blaring forth, and the Devatas showered flowers. And Sharirinam Sthavara Jangamanam Kshemaya, all beings experienced an intense, a profound sense of calm and happiness when Parvati Devi was born. Same thing happened for Shankaracharya, and here his Jataka, Bhagavad Pada's Jataka is written. So of course in Lagni Shubhe Shubhayute, Kumaram Parvati va Sushubhe. So just as Parvati Devi gave birth to Kumaraswamy, Aryamba gave birth to Shankaracharya. When Tunga Samsthe Surye Kuje Ravisute cha Guru cha Kendre. So when Surya Kuja, so Bhauma, Ravisute, Shani and Guru, Brahaspati were all in the Uchchasthanas, Tungasthana. So what are these? There is a line in Jyotish Shastra. Aja Vrashabha Mragangana Kuliraha Jhasha Vanijoja Divakaradi Tungaha. So in order, Aja, Vrashabha, Mraga, Angana, Kulira, Chasha, Vanik. So these are all the Rashis that these Grahas are in when they're in Uchchasthana. So Aja, Mesha Rashi. So when Surya in Tungasthana, in the highest position, is in Mesha Rashi. Aja, Vrashabha. So Chandra, when Chandra is in Vrashabha Rashi, he is in his Uchchasthana. Aja, Vrashabha, Mriga. So Mriga here is Makara. So when Makara is there, Bhauma. So Kuja is in his Tunga Sthana. Then Angana. So the Angana is Buddha. So Buddha. So in Kanya Rashi, Buddha is in Kanya. When Buddha is in Uchchasthana, is in Kanya Rashi. And then Guru. So Kulira. Kulira is the crab. So Kulira. And then Jhasha. So then Shukra is in Meena Rashi when he is in his highest, and Vanik is the Tula, the balance that merchants use. So when Shani is in his highest position, he is in Tula Rashi. So while these were all there, and then Guru cha Kendra. So Guru Brahaspati was in the Kendra. He was in the center, the Chaturthanyatama Sthana is what they say. So as Guru was there in such this formation of the planets, Bhagavad Pada was born, and with this auspicious event, we will stop for today. But another interesting thing here, this Jataka is very similar to Ramachandra's, because Rama was Uchchasthe Grahapanchake Suragurau Sendo. So also then 5 grahas were in their Uchchasthanas when Rama was born, and Guru and Indra and Indu. So Guru and Chandra were also together. So that was Chaitra Shukla Navami, and this is Vaishakha Shuddha Panchami. So on this auspicious day, out of all of our fortune, quite frankly, Bhagavad Pada was born. So tomorrow we will start from Bhagavad Pada's Balya Leelas in the next session. So stopping here with doing namaskaras to Bhagavad Pada, doing namaskara to Ubhaya Jagat Gurus, I will stop here. Ityesha vangmayi puja Srimad Shankara Padayoho arpita tena deveshah priyatam me sada shivah tava tattvan janami kidrishosi maheshwara yadrishosi mahadeva tadrishaya namo namaha.